The content in this video is for general educational use. It does not represent political opinions or judgments about any country, culture, or government. Information is based on publicly available sources and may be summarized or simplified. Viewers should verify details through multiple sources.
All right, today we're going to a place that feels like it's at the very edge of the world, a remote archipelago way down off the coast of southern Chile. This is a land where the stories are literally carved into the landscape, where faith is built from the forest and where, time just seems to follow its own rules. So let's dive into the incredible story of Chiloe. Okay, picture this. An island chain so remote, its very creation is explained by a myth, a titanic battle between the serpent of the earth and the serpent of the sea. This is Chiloé. It's an archipelago at what feels like the end of the world, where myth, wood, and faith have all fused together to create a culture that's, well, it's unlike any other. So, to really understand Chiloé, we have to start where the Chilote people themselves do, with the creation of their home. And in their story, it wasn't geology that shaped these islands. Oh no, it was a primordial war between two cosmic forces. On one side, you've got Trentron Velu, the great earth serpent. He's the protector, raising the land to save humanity. And on the other side, Kaikai Velu, the serpent of the sea, who, in a fit of rage, just commands the waters to rise up and drown everything. Their epic struggle literally shook the world. Kaikai would flood the plains, and Trentron would heave the hills up into mountains to fight back. And this is what was left when the battle was over. The land was shattered, just completely fragmented by these battling serpents, creating the incredible geography of Chiloe that we see today. And this isn't just some quaint story. For the people here, that myth is written into every single island, every channel, every fjord. The landscape itself is the final chapter of that epic battle. So, with a land born from all that chaos, how did people even learn to live here? Well, they turned to the one resource that was absolutely everywhere, the resource that would come to define their entire culture. The forest. Get this, an incredible 60% of Chileo's main island is still covered in native evergreen forests. This massive, dense, cold jungle wasn't just pretty scenery. It was their hardware store, their boatyard, and their cathedral, all rolled into one. It gave them everything they needed. And this is where you see the sheer genius of the Chilote people. They developed this deep, almost symbiotic relationship with their trees. I mean, they knew that canela wood was spicy, so rodents wouldn't chew on it. Perfect for a barn, right? They knew the aromatic cypress of Guayacas was the perfect wood for the boats they desperately needed to connect their scattered islands. This was a culture of master carpenters who understood their forest inside and out. And you can see that connection perfectly right here. You go from the raw material of the forest on the left to the absolute mastery of craftsmanship it allowed on the right. Every building, every tool, every boat was a tribute to the spirit of the wood. It's a culture that was, quite literally, carved from the trees. But, a world of myth and wood this unique couldn't stay isolated forever. Outsiders eventually arrived, and they brought a new faith with them. But instead of the conflict you might expect, what happened next was this remarkable fusion, something the world had truly never seen before. Now, people had been living on these islands for thousands of years, totally adapted to a life on the sea. The Spanish showed up in 1567, but the real cultural game changer started in 1608 with the arrival of the Jesuit missionaries. And their approach to converting people was, especially for the time, pretty revolutionary. See, instead of trying to just erase the local beliefs of the Huilliche and Chono peoples, the Jesuits did something radical. They blended them. They wove Catholic ideas into the very fabric of indigenous life, letting local healers become church officials and adapting ancient ceremonies into Christian celebrations. It was a strategy of mixing, not conquering. And the result? Well, it was this. The Chile School of Wooden Churches. And these are not just European churches built with local wood, no way. They are a true architectural fusion, a brand new style born from that meeting of Jesuit faith and Chilote carpentry. And today, 16 of them are so special, they're recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And just look at the inside. This is where you really see the Chilote genius shine. The local carpenters, who for generations had been building boats tough enough for the Pacific Ocean, used those exact same skills to build these churches. They created these incredible vaulted ceilings that look like the hull of an upside-down ship, often without using a single metal nail. It's all just wooden pegs and masterfully crafted joints. And what's so important is that no two are alike, not even close. Each community poured its heart and soul into its church, making each one a totally unique landmark and a powerful symbol of that town's specific identity. They were like these spiritual lighthouses, connecting the sea, the land, and the heavens. But time doesn't stand still, not even in Chile. The 20th century brought some profound changes to the islands, forcing this conversation between its deeply rooted traditions and the relentless push of the modern world. This contrast really says it all. On the left, you've got the classic architecture, all native wood and those beautiful shingles. On the right, well, that's the face of the 20th century. After a massive fire destroyed much of the city of Castro in 1936, things like reinforced concrete started showing up because, they were seen as safer, more modern. But the real turning point, the moment everything really changed, was the massive earthquake of 1960, one of the most powerful ever recorded on Earth. The destruction was just immense, and the government rebuilding effort that followed truly blew the doors open to modernity. New roads, new ferry services, Chile's centuries of isolation were finally starting to end. So as Chiloe is grappling with all these changes, many people are looking back to indigenous wisdom for guidance. Take this Weliche concept, kume mogen rupi. It's a way of thinking about health that goes so far beyond just the physical body. It's about being in balance with yourself, with your community, and with the world around you. It's a holistic worldview that offers a pretty powerful way to look at the challenges of modern life. And really, all of this brings us to the fundamental question that Chiloe is facing today. As the world gets smaller and more connected, as new bridges literally get built and old ways start to fade, how does a place with such a unique, deeply rooted identity manage to preserve its very soul? There are no easy answers to that question. But if Chile's past teaches us anything, it's that this is a place born from finding balance. Balance between the sea and the land, between ancient myths and new beliefs, between the spirit of the forest and the hands that shape it. The future of Chile might not be about choosing tradition or modernity, but about doing what it's always done, forging a new fusion. Thanks for exploring this incredible place with me.